Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, this is Yuzenko. I love creating distorted portraits. Today I'll be painting a guy from a reference photo which I found on Pinterest. I'll take you through the process step by step, sharing my techniques, thoughts and little details that bring the painting to life. So grab a drink, relax and let's dive into another creative session together. For this portrait, I'm starting with a blue underpainting. Using a cool tone as a base helps define shadows and depth while keeping the overall look soft and harmonious. The blue layer also guides the warmer tones I'll add later, creating a balanced and lifelike effect. It's a great way to build dimension gradually without losing the transparency of watercolors. After the underpainting, I paint my first layer with a light skin color. I paint all over the face and the neck, except the areas I know it will be white. I start applying my second layer. It mainly consists of mid-tones. I start with the neck. When I move to the eyes, I apply negative painting. Negative painting is a technique where instead of painting the object itself, we paint around it. It allows the lighter areas to take shape naturally. By building up layers of darker tones around the subject, we create depth and contrast while keeping the painting fresh and luminous. In the third layer, I focus mainly on ears and eyes, adding darker tones to define their structure. The ears have delicate shadows that give them depth, especially around the edges and the inner folds. I quickly start the eyes, only drawing thin lines with Payne's Grey and soften them with clean brush. This should be enough for now. When painting lips and gums in watercolor, I pay close attention to the subtle differences in their hues. Both are red, but the gums have a much softer and lighter appearance. To achieve this, I add a touch of white to my cadmium red, creating a more delicate, pastel-like tone. For the lips, I use a deeper red, layering it gradually to build richness and depth. For the eyes, I only add the iris. I'll add the pupils later. For the t-shirt, I do not go into detail, just a few brush strokes for the shadows and a few details like the seam marks, etc. I add the pupils with pure black. When painting hair, eyebrows and beard in watercolor, I focus on building depth gradually while keeping a natural flow. Instead of painting every strand, I work in layers, starting with a light wash to establish the overall shape and direction. For the eyebrows and beard, I use short, controlled brush strokes to suggest texture without making them look too harsh. Adding slight variations in tone helps create a more realistic look. Well, I don't go for realistic here, but it still helps me build a darker tone where the hair is denser and a lighter tone where it catches the light. For the hair, I let the water and the pigment blend naturally, creating soft transitions between highlights and shadows. Using a mix of wet and dry technique allows me to capture both the fluidity and structure of the hair. The key here is to balance details and softness, making the features expressive without overworking the painting. To bring more life to the portrait, I add touches of red in key areas. A bit of warmth on cheeks, nose and ears make the skin look more vibrant and natural. We can also use red subtly around the eyes and lips to enhance expression and depth. This small addition creates a sense of warmth and it prevents the face from looking too flat or dull. The key here is to blend it softly so it feels natural and harmonious with the rest of the painting. Since we've already added red for warmth, a touch of blue can create a natural balance, making the skin tones more dynamic. I also add the same tone of blue for shadowing around the face. I start painting with brushes. It's quite straightforward really. I add a light orange as an underpainting and then add a darker tone. Once it's dry, I add an even darker tone. I add the final details with my black ink pen and a white ballpoint pen. I'm also smudging some whites on my painting to create more highlight. Well, that's it for today's painting. I hope you enjoyed watching the process and maybe even picked up a few ideas for your own work. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. And if you're new here, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss my next watercolor portrait. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.